Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Day9.
And I'm Rob Simpson.
And this is the After Hours Gaming League Week 2, Season 2. Our contestants today are going to be Zynga and Twitter, duking it out on the virtual battlefield for a chance to donate $5,000 of my money to charity.
Now, wait a minute, Sean.
What is that, Rob?
I think it's Zynga versus Epic.
That is true. In the top left corner from the new team, Epic was not in AHGL Season 1. It is J-Dub spawning as the Zerg pieces. And down in the bottom side, we have Fredo from Team Zynga, who was quite the regular, and who I actually called Fredo the first time I casted him, but he corrected me.
So was he able to correct that in person, or do you send in like a phonetic explanation?
He did. He sent me like F-R-A-Y-D-O-U-G-H. It took more letters to show me how to pronounce his name than his name actually contained. It is going to be a Zerg vs. Zerg on Metalopolis, so I do anticipate that we'll see probably a lot of Ling-Baneling action, given the fact that these players are in fairly close positions.
Given the positions, I would also pretty much expect to see both of them expand relatively quickly as well. I don't personally like really early aggression in ZVZ ever, because it frightens me.
Well, it's this weird sort of like dangerous spot where, you know, if you build too many Lings and Banelings at the start of the game and your opponent gets one good defensive Baneling hit off, you are in horrible position. But of course, given the fact that these are not top pros, these are your average everyday SC2 bears from these companies, I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them just all in one another.
Which would be relatively entertaining.
Which absolutely would.
Banelings are always exciting.
Banelings are far and away the most, I guess I would say, heart attack-inducing unit in the entire game of Starcraft 2. It looks like J-Dub is going for the gas pool. Fredo's going for the faster gas and slightly faster pool, so he will be able to get Zergling speed up just a smidge earlier. And look at this Overlord placement. There have been so many Overlord high fives, and in that very Final Fantasy VII-esque fashion, they just passed right through each other with polygons.
Zero collision.
Zero collision, polygons poking out from all sides, and I bet you that their fists are cubes. Looks like Fredo from Team Zynga. Zynga will be the green team. Epic, the medical software company, will be the red team throughout the series. Neither of them have done too much other than just mine gas, build pools, high five with overlords. And there it is.
Oh, and there comes the metabolic boost upgrade. That means that he is going to have his speedlings out just a bit before red over there. J-Dub's going to be falling behind a little bit. He did just pass that 100 mark, and there goes his metabolic boost.
And you know, that's a great point. Having that Zergling speed just a slight smidge behind can be devastating in this matchup, because if my Lings are running away from your Lings, then it's all of a sudden like you just got that new pair of shoes that marketing told you make you run faster. Well, he got a pair of those. He tracked down the enemy, and he killed him, thanks to that earlier Zergling speed boost upgrade. Now, we haven't seen either player pull any guys out of gas. Fredo pulled one unit out of gas, which means, yeah, it looks like they're going to be going Banelings. And over here we have Banelings. Excellent.
Banelings.
It's time to open up Husky's YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like J-Dub is actually just going to try to do the Ling run-by. He's sending a drone out. That is so bold. Taking an expansion already. He sees exactly what his opponent's up to with that starting Overlord. He's got to be very careful. Woo! The Zergling dance doth commence. And here we have two Zerglings from J-Dub just making sure that there's no expo going down.
Now, J-Dub being fully aware of his opponent also building a Baneling nest means that he's going to probably have quite a bit of trouble holding that expansion.
Yeah, I mean, J-Dub, on the other hand, looks like he can position all his Zerglings in just the right spot. Fredo's actually under a lot of pressure to do some serious damage with this attack. I mean, he did get the Zergling speed up earlier. There's J-Dub with the defensive Banelings. Look at this. Both players actually just going straight for making more drones, but it does look like our Zynga Zerg, Fredo, has successfully started to get that drone lead.
Oh, now this is actually going to put J-Dub in a pretty comfortable spot if he's able to get up that expansion and hold it with ease, because defensive Banelings are pretty effective.
Yeah, defensive Banelings pretty much shut down all of everything. Fredo's going a little bit crazy with his own pack of Banelings at the top of his ramp. But both players, as you noted, really want to go into that late game, get those expansions up pretty quickly. Could turn around really fast if any Baneling detonates and kills off a little bit too much. But looks like both players are kind of doing the gentleman's agreement. We're not going to kill each other. We're just going to be very gentle. We're going to expand, go for economy.
Well, nobody wants to lose the first team match very quickly, right? There's a lot of pressure on both of these players.
I mean, few things hurt more than being in the observer chair with the rest of your team, and whenever they talk, you have that guilt where you feel like you can't chip in. What is my teammate doing? At least he hasn't lost yet, buddy. And we see there's the Zerglings from Fredo sneaking in. There's the Banelings from J-Dub.
Oh.
Oh, getting a little bit close, but Fredo has a lot more confidence than most guys do on their first date. Zerglings being very bold.
Zynga.
Pulling back. Nice. There it is. Picking off as many Zerglings as humanly possible while still dodging those Banelings. Have to be careful. Fredo botches a little bit and loses 4 Zerglings. But J-Dub still in that good defensive spot, and both players, again with a gentleman's agreement, are making nothing but drones.
Yeah, and Fredo just has a marginal lead on the drone count. He hasn't Maynarded anything out over to that natural quite yet.
Do see that layers now popping up for J-Dub. Looks like he will be going, wow, interestingly, I would assume for that very popular Mutalisk play. You know, players loved making roaches all the time at the start. It's a very straightforward unit to build. But lately, players have been getting more and more comfortable with those sort of Mutalisk transitions, and Zerglings now getting the chance to sneak in. This is a very common way to scout in this matchup, to just take your entire army into his base, to walk through, see everything, and only lose a little bit.
And that's exactly what you're going to want to do. That's why you get those speedlings. Really, this matchup is going to be all about information. And J-Dub wants to stay on that offensive because right now he is almost finished with his layer. He wants to make sure that he continually has that 1-up over Fredo.
Yeah, I mean, being able to sweep all the way through the base, seeing Neuroach Warren up, means that J-Dub doesn't actually have to make that many Spine Crawlers. Instead, all he has to really focus on are the Banelings. That's what's going to make him most comfortable in that position. So right now, it looks like Fredo is going to be going for, yeah, wow, looks like either the Mutalisk or the Spire transition, but I would still expect J-Dub with his earlier layer. Yep, there it is, the Spire. He is not going to have to go crazy with the Spine Crawlers. No Roaches coming anytime soon.
And right now, both of the players are almost going to be in a little bit of a stalemate because both of them, teching and macroing up to the best of their ability, they're really just going to be waiting to hit that Spire timing.
And the best part of all is killing Overlords. They get to do their little Corsair thing. Right now, Fredo's pulled back all his Overlords, save one. J-Dub pulling his Overlords back somewhat, but is feeling a lot more bold about leaving them out in the middle of the map because he's guaranteed to be ahead in that Spire tech. Fredo's going to be hold up, defensive, lose all map control, all information. And that's going to be Frown Town.
And now Fredo has had his layer finished, but still hasn't started his Spire. Oh, and speak of the devil.
And there's the Spire getting started right there at the far back side to try to hide it from this Overseer.
1 HP. Oh, and the Overseer goes down.
He spats into goo, but that's okay, because these Zerglings are going to stumble across a nice surprise, a potentially free Spire. If he just walks through from that left angle.
That could actually be really tough for Fredo to defend. Obviously, Zergling's going to be able to get in there and surround that really fast. Although, on the other hand, since it's in a kind of unorthodox position, it could mean that J-Dub won't even see it until it's too late.
Uh-oh, Fredo moves in, sees the Spire, and immediate doom is on his mind as he starts to build as many Spore Crawlers as he can afford, which, as it turns out, is exactly 4. Buying a 4-pack of Spore Crawlers and taking his third base. I love this decision. He knows he has the map control. He knows that he has Zerglings running everywhere. Counterattacks always a threat. His Mutalisks are way ahead. Very comfortable position for him to start moving out.
And now with the timing that it's hitting right now on the production tab, we just saw that J-Dub finished his first batch of 3 Mutalisks, which means that this is the perfect time for him to get over and really harass Fredo right now. That first batch now coming up to a total of 5 Mutalisks. And right now we see that Fredo's had to actually save up a ton of float. He's got 1,400 minerals and 1,100 gas. He's just waiting for that Spire to finish. Still hasn't started building all of his Mutalisks. And right now we've got 40-ish seconds that J-Dub's got for free.
Oh, whoa! Units are all in weird sorts of places. These units moving through. One Mutalisk immediately dies, but we see a bunch of Zerglings moving into this backside. There seems to be no Banelings in sight, but there's a lot of red units at the south side as well. This expansion could go down really quickly. This would be such a devastating blow for J-Dub. The Epic Zerg. Oh, it's a Baneling. The Epic Zerg. Oh, Fredo from Zynga losing huge numbers of Zerglings.
But surprisingly, still absolutely overwhelming J-Dub's army, even though 2 of those Banelings hit very nicely. And now those Mutalisks are going to easily be able to clean that up, meaning that J-Dub now has a secure third, depending on whether or not Fredo's able to take it down with these Mutalisks.
Now, I don't know how this is physically possible, but Rob, only in Starcraft can magical things happen. 12 Mutalisks. Somehow Fredo, with the later Spire and later Gas, has the Mutalisk lead. Those Zerglings bought him enough time, but it looks like Red, the Epic Zerg, in the mood for a little bit of counterattack, but our green Zynga Zerg feeling very comfortable to even up the score a little bit by taking that down.
Now, I wonder where a lot of the supply went, because we did did see that J-Dub had about a 15 to 20 supply lead there going into this, so maybe he just pumped out a ton of drones, anticipating that he would have that third. Oh, and there goes the third, which means that anything that he just built to support it is now effectively useless.
But it looks like Spore Crawlers are not particularly good against Zerglings, and they stream right in, trying to target fire that Queen, but drones are pretty good. Pretty good units. J-Dub looks like he's boldly building 2 Banelings right there. I anticipate that they won't finish, but you never know. Okay, now we do. That's right. I don't claim to be a clairvoyant.
Mutalisks are pretty good at finishing off those Banelings.
Mutalisks, one of the most effective counters to building Banelings. Third hatch going down. Yeah, it looks like J-Dub's being a little bit self-conscious about that extra mineral, so he's just going to go ahead and increase his hatch size up a little bit. There's another hatchery.
Wow.
It looks like J-Dub just enjoys the H button.
Trying to get, I mean, that was actually a really nice pickup. That was not canceled. Ouch.
Yeah, it's free 300 minerals, and Fredo, Fredo looks like he's increasingly getting the better of all these Mutalisk engagements. It looks like the Epic Zerg behind one Mutalisk, the Zynga Zerg, now behind one Mutalisk, trying to go up and pick off those queens, and it looks like losing a few critical Mutalisks right there. Whoever ends up getting the Mutalisk advantage will be in clearly the best position. You might even be tempted to throw down some Corruptors at this point in time, but they're so slow, no player wants to lose that kind of mobility.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, man, J-Dub's in a really rough position. He did have a bit of a lead, but chased just a little too far. Fredo was able to build some additional Mutalisks and get in there and really capitalize on J-Dub's overextension.
Whoopsie daisies, the score is not 2-2, you guys. The score is 0-0, so I better stop lying to you with that. Excellent. It looks like
match game 1.
Ace match game 1 coming right out the gate with these teams tied up 2-2, falling down to 0-0 mid-game. Hard to do, but only here at the AHGL, where Fredo puts up an excellent defense. And in the bottom right, we have Fredo, the Zynga Zerg, now trying to again battle for that third base.
Ooh, yes, and now Fredo is in an awesome position. He is going to easily be able to get up that third. He just has to be smart with his Mutalisks. As long as he doesn't pull a J-Dub, he'll be perfectly fine to get out there.
How cool and true, Robert Paul Simpson. We see there Fredo, the Zynga Zerg, picking off some of these counterattacks while setting up some more counterattacks of his own. Really loving the way Zerg vs. Zerg is developing in StarCraft 2, becoming a much more aggressive and dynamic matchup as opposed to one where you need to have only an S, D, and R key.
Roaches are pretty good.
Roaches are a fairly effective unit. We do see J-Dub trying to sneak down to this bottom right side, but of course, counterattack-proof, counterattacking Fredo lets him right in. In the top side, it looks like his focus was devoted to this upper attack, but he's hitting Queen, more Mutalisks, a Spore Crawler. It looks like he thinks his 1-0 upgrade is going to be enough, but J-Dub with the 1-1-ups, allowing him to pull quite far ahead. And the third from Fredo has been saved. His only saving grace, I think, is if he can start mining gas a lot earlier.
And right now, J-Dub has significantly just taken the tide of battle. He's going to have momentum moving out there. He's still chasing those Mutalisks across the center of the map, and right now, Fredo's going to be scrambling. He's down 20 food. J-Dub is in a great position to take map control, and Fredo's going to have to pull a miracle here.
It's a great position to be in to have your third up in Zerg vs. Zerg on this map. There's almost no way for your opponent to put pressure unless he has overwhelmingly more Mutalisks than you. And even as J-Dub is doing this, picking off this expansion, these Zerglings are always a threat to run anywhere into the main, put tons of damage on the opponent. It looks like some more backup Mutalisks are coming. Fredo might have the smaller Mutalisk numbers in this battle. Where are the remainder? There they are, finally collecting together.
Oh man, and right now J-Dub's going to be in a tough position because all of his Mutalisks are totally stacked up. Wow, this is incredibly hard to see what exactly is going on. They're at just about even Mutalisk counts, but J-Dub's superior upgrade.
J-Dub, the 1-1 demolished his opponent. The Zynga Zerg in a ton of trouble, and if when you're in trouble at any point, box all your units and go attack. Oh no, one Baneling lands nicely. Oh, these Baneling hits are so huge. But there's plenty of Zerglings in the main trying to deal as much damage as they can. If he's not going to win the mineral battle, he's not going to win the gas battle. He'll focus on using those mineral-heavy Zerglings. But they're all dead.
They are now. J-Dub with the quick cleanup with those Banelings. Oh, and J-Dub now just proceeding to get in there and finish off that hatchery. And those Mutalisks better run.
And this is a great decision by J-Dub, pulling back.
Ooh, also has 2 attack now.
Jeez. 2 attack, 1 armor. J-Dub going for that air advantage in stride.
Yeah, and having that armor upgrade on those Mutalisks is going to be so clutch when in a Mutalisk versus Mutalisk battle, because when you're able to reduce the glaive bounce damage, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, +1 armor is effectively +3 armor against enemy Mutalisks. exactly why players' favorite.
Knowledge bomb.
Yeah, now boom. That's what we call the Day 9 Daily. Looks like Fredo now moving up to the top left side, trying to again use some of his minerals to deal some damage to the gas collection of J-Dub. But Baneling's on the scene, ready to deal maximum damage, and as more of those basic units arrive, Fredo's options are running dry, and J-Dub will really help making a lot of steps forward for the inaugural game of the Team Epic.
Seeing J-Dub, even with such a large lead, is continuing to build that lead. Oh, and there's the GG. The Zynga Zerd taps out, giving Epic a 1-0 lead in this series.
Epic, who has just begun their first ever AHGL match against the second place team from last season, Zynga, managing to take that first win right off the bat with some convincing play. So that does mean that right now Epic is 1-0 against the opposing team. What's going to happen in game number 2, Rob?
We'll find out when we come back to the AHGL.
Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 3.